Hi YACB and Ballet Continental dancers and parents. My name is Brittany Johnson. I don't know if you remember me or not, but I was a YACB instructor and dancer, as well as I danced for Ballet Continental as the principal dancer for many years. I am going to be teaching you in this video how to do beginning stage makeup for the beginning dancer. The first thing we want to make sure we do before we start our makeup, if we have our costume on, we need to make sure to put a shirt over it, so that way if anything falls off, it gets on the shirt and not on our pretty costumes. The second thing we need to make sure is we have no jewelry on. The only thing we're allowed to wear are stud earrings. And the last thing we need to do before we put on our makeup is make sure that our hair is in a classical bun. It needs to be nicely pulled back, and either use gel or hairspray to get all of the flyaways nicely flat on your head. And then you're going to want to have your bun, you want to have a hairnet over the top of it so all those little hairs aren't sticking out everywhere. After we have all of those done, we are going to go ahead and get started on our makeup. All right, so the first thing you want to make sure you have is foundation. It does not matter what kind, whatever you find or have works perfect. So stage makeup, before I put this makeup on my face, stage makeup is makeup that is a little more than what we would normally wear on an everyday basis, right? And the reason for that is we are on stage with a ton of lighting, and it's very easy for us to get washed out or very shadowy from them. And we want to have our audience members be able to see us and see our beautiful faces, right? So that's why we want to wear makeup even if we are at the beginning stages of dance. It doesn't matter, it still shows off our pretty faces to the audience. All right, so we're going to take our foundation. I like to just kind of put it across my face in all the areas that I'm going to need it. And what you do is I take a sponge. You can use a sponge or you can use your fingers. It doesn't matter, whatever works best for you. And you just kind of blend it all together here until it is smooth across your face. And if you're not sure how much to put on, just do a little bit at first and then you can always add more, okay? You don't want to put too much on and then be stuck with a whole bunch of this product all over your face or your dancer's face. And there's no point in wasting it because we have more to put on if we need to. All right, so once I've added all of this foundation to my face where I want it, then I'm going to add a little bit to my neck because we want our neck to be equally balanced with our face. So I'm going to do a little bit on both sides, and then same as you do with your face, just blend it until all of the makeup is blended together. Okay, so now that I have my foundation where I want it to be, the next step we're going to do, it doesn't matter if you use a loose powder or if you use a compact. I'm going to use the compact today just because if I'm wearing a costume, it doesn't get all over it as easily as a loose powder will. Putting a powder on over the top of your foundation is very critical because if you're on stage and you're sweating, and what it does is it's kind of like the glue for your foundation. It helps keep it in place where we need it to stay. So all you're going to do is rub this all over where you have any of your foundation. And then you want to make sure that you put some on your eyelids because it will make it easier for us when we apply our eyeshadow. And then go ahead and put some under your neck. And now that we have all of our powder on, our next step that we're going to move to is our blush. Your blush, you want it to be 1 to 2 shades darker than your skin tone. If it blends in and you can't really see it, then it's too light. You need to get something a little darker. I'm going to use this color right here. All you need is a little brush. Most of your blushes come with it if you don't have one yourself. So remember, this is stage makeup, so we want to put a little more on than we normally would. We're going to start at the apples of our cheeks, work up your cheekbone, which you can feel if you're not sure where it's at, and you want it to go all the way right to the corner of your hair there, right above your ear. So we're going to start at the apple of our cheek and just brush it up and down until we have all the product off. And we're just blending it in. And it's okay if it looks like it's too much, because that's what we want. Because when you're the audience and you're looking at the dancer, you want to be able to see their pretty face. All right, we're going to go to the other side. Remember, find the apple of the cheek, go up the cheekbone, and it will end right here, right above your ear at your hairline. Just little strokes up and down. There we go. Once you feel like it's fully blended, then you are done with the blush. All right, so there's our pretty blush. It just kind of helps to shape our face a little bit, make it a little lighter with the stage lights. My next step that we need to start to do now is our eyeshadow. So I am going to take my eyeshadow brush here. This is my eyeshadow brush that I'm going to be using. A lot of the eyeshadows will come with a brush inside of them. So if you don't have one, don't worry about it. You could also use your finger. Doesn't really matter, as long as you try to get it in the right places. So the colors I would suggest to use, you need two different colors. You need a lighter one and you need a darker one. You need the lighter one to be either like a white or a creamy color. And you need the second color, I would suggest either use a brown or a purple, but not bright purple. You want it to be a neutral purple, okay? Same with the brown, needs to be neutral brown. So if I was gonna go with the purple, I would probably go ahead and use one of these three colors here. And if I was gonna go with the brown, I would use probably one of these two colors here, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and do brown eyeshadow with this really light color here. You're going to start with your light eyeshadow that you've chosen for yourself. Dip your brush into it, and you're going to generously apply it to the eyelid, the inner corner of the eye, and up into the eyebrow. So super simple. All you're doing is smudging that all around until it is completely blended out. Then you're going to go to the other side. So the reason why you want the lighter eyeshadow is to help brighten up your eyes, because those lights are so harsh, they're going to cause really dark shadows on your face, and this lighter color eyeshadow is going to help alleviate that. Okay, so now I have my lighter color on. I'm going to go to step 2 of the eyeshadow, and you're going to take your darker color, which I'm going to use this brown here. And you're going to dip your brush into it, starting at the corner of your eyelid. Because you have so much powder on your brush, you want the darkest amount of your powder to go right on the corners of your eyelid first, or onto your dancer's eyelid first. And then you'll brush it in the crease of your eyelid. And then just continue to blend it out until you see fit. If you don't feel like you have enough color, feel free to dip in. Just make sure you have the first amount of shadow that you put on your eye blended. Just to make sure you don't go too overboard and you decide, maybe I don't need more. I'm gonna put a tiny bit more on, just so I have a little more definition here. All right. There's one side. I'm going to go ahead and go to the other side. Remember, darker amount is first going to go to the outer corner of the eye, and then you're going to just blend it right into the crease. It doesn't have to be perfectly in the crease. It can be a little above and it can be a little below. The only reason I'm saying you want it in the crease is because when you place your brush and blend it around, it's going to leave a little light color on your eyelid and it's going to leave some light color above. So the dark color we're using is just to create definition to our eyes and some shape to our eyes. Leaving the lighter color is going to give us a little more of a lift and help us not have too much shadowing going on with our faces. All right. So now that we have our 2 steps of eyeshadow done, if you feel like you messed up at all and you have too much dark on your eyes, you can always go back in with the lighter color that you chose and just go right back under and over the parts that you feel like you put too much on. After that part with your beginner dancer, or on yourself if you're doing your makeup yourself, we're going to take another little brush or the one that came with your eyeshadow in the same dark color you used. You're just going to kind of brush it right under the bottom lashes on both sides. Super simple. We're not wearing eyeliner because we don't need as much makeup as the advanced dancers. The next step we're going to do with our eyes is we need to make sure we have mascara. You can choose whatever mascara you like. And all I do is make sure when you pull it out, it doesn't have too much mascara on the wand because otherwise it gets super clumpy. If you're doing someone else's mascara, it's best to have them close their eye and do the mascara up, just like that. And if you're doing your own, it's probably a little easier to keep your eye open and do it, okay? So I'm gonna start my mascara, start on the outside and work your way in. And you can just apply the desired amount you want. Since we're not going to be using false eyelashes for the beginner dancers, it's probably a little better to try to apply more mascara than you normally would even to yourself on a normal day, because we want our faces to stand out from the stage. All right, so you can already see the difference between my one eye compared to my other eye without having any mascara on, and that's going to make a huge difference for you on stage. Then the next thing we're going to do is do our other set of eyelashes here, starting at the outer edge and working our way in. So remember, if you are just finished with the first eye, you probably want to redip your wand so you have enough product for your other eye. The other thing you don't want to do when you're applying mascara to your eyes or your dancer's eye is to keep dipping and reapplying, because you're going to create too much clumping. And then that will cause your mascara to fall off onto your face. All right, so we're going to do one more step, and I'm going to use eyebrow cream, but you can take either a brown pencil or you can take brown eyeshadow, and we want to create some definition to our eyebrows. Even the younger dancers, especially theirs, because they're so light most of the time and so sparse that we need to fill them in a little bit. You don't have to go crazy, but you want to fill them in a tiny bit so it creates more depth to their face. All right. So mine just has a little brush. I'm just going to brush it in so they look a little darker. You don't have to go crazy. You just want to fill it in so they stand out a little better than they normally would. All right, so there's one eyebrow. It's only a little bit different, not too much. And then we do the other side. There we go. So you just want them a little darker than your normal shade. All right, that's one last step. That is very important. It kind of pulls your whole face together. We want to do a lipstick. It should be, just like I said, your blush needs to be 1 to 2 shades darker than your face so you can see it. Your lipstick needs to be 1 to 2 shades darker than your natural lip color. All right, so mine's a little more pink, and I'm going to go ahead and just apply it on here. And all you need to do is follow the natural lip line there. Rub them together and make sure you have none on your teeth. If you do, just lick it off. And there you go. That is our finished beginning stage makeup for the beginning dancer. I'm glad you guys were able to watch this. I hope it helped. If you weren't sure how you needed your makeup done for your beginner dancer, but this is how it is. And don't forget your beautiful bun. Thank you guys for tuning in. Bye. Have a good day.